welcome to my YouTube channel. So thank you guys for watching all the other videos. If you've not, please pause this, go back and have fun, indulge and watch all those other videos. Also, if you are new, my name is Tumelo Faith, directly translated. I know definitely all those names are in my ID, but you guys get to choose a struggle, pick a name that you're comfortable with, live your best life, and yeah, enjoy. So in today's video, I'm gonna do what I call a money series. So it's gonna be a few videos in different parts that I'm gonna do for the next maybe 3-4 videos. I don't know yet, but we'll see how far this goes. So yeah, in today's video, what I'm gonna be doing is I am gonna be talking about a few things that I've learned, a few things that I think we need to, look at, and some money lessons that I've gathered from family and friends. So yeah, basically, it's more like what I have learned, what I have observed, what I know and what I do in terms of money. I'm trying to not say everything money, but yeah, it's just stuff that I've just learned over the years and stuff that I'm trying to do that relates to technically everything money. So I decided to do these videos because, for starters, I think it's something that I would have liked to have learned in my younger years in varsity, because that's when I started making money decisions by myself. And also I feel like me speaking about this will maybe help other people, students, yes, young professionals, even older people like Archeti. Everyone is welcome. We also don't bite, so do feel free to interact with us in the comments. So yeah, okay. Also, before I start with this video, I think it's very appropriate that I mention that I am not trying to breach any gap. I'm not trying to say that I'm a financial advisor. If you want a financial advisor, please find someone who is accredited and registered with the FSCA and the Financial Services Board. These people, if you want to find someone immediate, I think if you go to the bank, financial institution where you bank with, be it ABSA, FNB, Standard Bank, you name them all, if you go there, they should be able to assist you. So don't take this heavily, so you can just go there and ask for help, because I am not trying to say that I am something that I'm not. So yeah, so now, also because yes, I am that girl who likes lists, I also made a list for these nitty-gritties that I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. So for the first one, I call this one a rule of thumb. Why do I call it a rule of thumb? I call it a rule of thumb because it's something that I hear so often from so many different people. So I thought, like, what else could I possibly call it if not a rule of thumb? So what they're saying is you need to be able to live beneath your means. What does living beneath your means mean? It means that you don't spend much more than what you get in. So by not spending much more than what you get in, it means that when you get your next paycheck, you need to have a little that was left over. Even if it's not a little, but you need to have something left over from your previous salary, allowance, or whatever you call it, that will be able to carry you into the next paycheck. So that is how you live beneath your means. And if you live, the nice thing about living beneath your means is that you are more likely to not get into unnecessary debt or to just get into debt, because there's money that you've not been using that you can now use for something that you want to do now. Instead of getting it on credit, you can now use that money that has been left over all those times. Yes, so that would be my next point, which would be that you need to put aside that money that is left over. Don't try to live your best life because I have an extra 10 rand left over now that I've gotten my money today and there's 10 rand left over from yesterday. No, you don't do that. Go out and live your best life. You take that money and you put it aside. You put it aside into a savings. If you don't have a savings account, you go to your bank, contact them and be like, I want a savings account. There are different accounts. I think the easiest one, if you do not have a plan as to why you are saving, would maybe be an anytime access account, because that one you can access the money whenever you want. Or you could just lock it into a 32-day notice account. You know, just pick something that will work for you. Okay, and then the next one, yes, also when money is put aside into a savings account, not skybeka under a mattress, it must go to the bank. It's gonna earn interest. I feel like little interest is better than no interest at all. Yes, that 1 rand, nobody else was gonna give you that 1 rand if your money's in the bank earned 1 rand. So no, very little amount of interest is still better than no interest. Okay. So now that you've gotten used to or are learning how to save, what do? You need to be disciplined. Discipline is very important when we are talking about money, because you are not trying to be reckless, spend money in areas in your life where so many years down the line you're just like, but what was I doing? So you need to be disciplined, and you also need to be disciplined with how you're saving your money. So if you decide, I'm going to put aside a specific amount every month, do that. Be strict about it. Think of it the same way you'd be strict about stuff that you eat and don't eat. One example I could think of, it's not money related, but it's just something I realized. When you go to the doctor and they give you antibiotics, you know how they're very strict about those things. You must complete the course. I feel like even if you have a bacteria, if you don't go complete the course, the bacteria is also just like, no, I'm still gonna stick around because you decided not to follow instructions. So it's the same thing with disciplining yourself when you are dealing with money. You need to be very strict about that so that you can see your money bear fruit, and your discipline also just push you out to do a little bit more. And then also I feel like if you discipline yourself with regard to money, you are going to be able to incorporate other things into your money mix. You're going to be able to add on a little bit more so that you push yourself again. So what do I mean by in your money mix? In your money mix, I mean once you are able to discipline yourself in relation to money, you could be able to now get into the habit of diversifying your income. How do you diversify your income? Diversifying your income is there's a lot of things you could do. So if you have a 9 to 5, it would be what you do after your 9 to 5. That could be like a side hustle, whether you bake, whether you cook for people during the weekends, whether you cater, you know, these fun things to do. Also, another way to diversify your income would be to look into investments. This investment, I'll try to talk about them in another video, but it's one way to diversify your incomes. And yes, that little 1 rand interest that you're earning on that money in your savings account, that is you diversifying your income. Who was going to give you that 1 rand? I know 1 rand might not be like the right amount to use as an example, but we'll stick with the 1 rand because yes. What else could help diversify your income? I said side jobs, investments, savings. What else? Share with us the things you guys think we could incorporate into diversifying our income. And what else? Okay, here's another big one. Budgeting, guys. Must budget. Why do you need to budget? This we could have maybe used as the first thing we started with, because it's the base of you knowing how much you get and how much you are going to spend. So if you know how much you're going to spend, you can deduct that from the money you're getting in, and you know how much you're left over with. at the end of the month before your next paycheck. So it's very important to budget. If you don't know how to budget, ask people who say that they budget and ask them how they do it. Or just Google these things. Uncle Google is there to help you guys with these things. So you must budget, and so that you find yourself in a better position and not in debt that you do not need to be in your life, and you don't even know how long that is going to run for. Okay, the last point that I had for you guys is the power of the piggy bank money box, guys. There's no way you can go wrong with a money box if you are disciplined. Understand that discipline is very important here. You must discipline yourself with regard to that that piggy bank. For an example, okay, my little brother is just trying to tell me stuff. He wrote me a note, you guys. Yes, so I was talking about the piggy bank. What I'm saying is, for example, you don't have to be an overachiever about it, but definitely if you want to be an overachiever, do it. I'll totally do it, I know. But let's start with basic things. Think about, when you buy cash somewhere and they give you change and it has 10 cents and you're just like, but what am I gonna do with 10 cents? And for some odd reason that 10 cents just disappears over the long run. Think about all those 10 cents. If you had kept every one of those 10 cents and put them aside into a money box, today, right now, right this minute, how much would you have had? So this is that part of the video where I'm like, pause, reflect. I'm going to give you an example. My mom started this thing where she put 5 Rand coins into a 2-liter bottle. That was like, I think it was like 2 years ago. And she didn't see it through. Life happened. It was pretty fun, yeah, because I was there and I was just like, mama. So what had happened was she had put 5 Rands into the money box. Yes, that 2-liter bottle. So it was completely all 5 Rand coins. And when she decided to use the money, the bottle wasn't even like quarter there. The quarter of the bottle was not, we hadn't even reached a quarter part of it. And the money totaled about 2,000 rands. Imagine if the bottle was full. So let's say 4 quarters. That would have been about more than 4,000 rand in just 5 rands. So basically that's what I'm trying to say about the 10 cents. You would have made a 10 rand nyana, What can 10 rand buy you? 10 rand can buy you Kenya cold drink or 750 ml of still bottled water. Yeah, I think that's all I can think of. But yeah, it could get you something. Okay, so now what I'm gonna those were a few things I could think of. I know the list is very it's not exhaustive. There are so many things that you could incorporate into having maybe like a really good relationship with money, so you don't find yourself in a place where you're just like, but nah, money struggles are not for me, maybe money is no, don't do that. We all could have really healthy relationships with money so that we don't stress ourselves about money. So over the course of the week prior to recording this video, I asked a few family members and friends to share with me money lessons or money mistakes they've made. And yeah, so I'm going to read a few of those. There are a lot. I think about suggestions. I had contributions from about 8 people. And we are going to read all those contributions from all those 8 people. So yeah. I'm going to start with what my sister said. She said, you must save, and save some more. Even 10 rand a month makes a difference. If you have cash and don't know what to do with it, put it in the money box. If it's coins, you put them in there. If it's notes, you just fold them up and put them in there too. So be strict about the money box. You shouldn't open it before the time you planned to, open it. And the next thing she says, don't think about payday and do not wait for payday to solve your money problems. So what I think she was trying to say is you shouldn't always want to have the money problems or make a debt now and be like, but I'm getting paid in 2 weeks, I'll pay up for that in the 2 weeks time that I get the money. Then it's going to be like a repetitive cycle where you just take out maybe credit to pay it 2 weeks, and then now before you know it, it's much more than you had hoped it would be. And then the other thing she says this advice, it's something she wants to share with mothers. Mothers or anyone who takes care of a family for that matter. Buying bulk saves a lot of money. Just be sure to check expiration dates, especially for perishables. Toiletries tend to have a very long shelf life, but you must check either way. Take advantage also of reward systems available, be it from supermarkets or banks. When buying big things like furniture, save up for those items and buy cash. Because with cash, you will always be amazed at how stores are open for negotiations. She gave an example of a furniture store, Choreograph. Out of Choreografts, if you are buying cash, they are willing to negotiate. So you might just get there and pay much less than what you were originally going to pay for that item. And then what else did she say? She says with clothes, you don't need a clothing account. It's possible to survive by buying bit by bit and buying loads when stores have clearance sales. And then with regards to loans, try to pay an extra amount to your home loan or car loan. 100 rand goes a long way. What does she mean by 100 rand goes a long way? Thing is, when you take out a loan of any sort, there's interest added on to that. So the minute you pay an extra amount, that amount goes towards the interest you would have paid over a long run. So it's going to reduce that interest, and it might even reduce the term of the repayments if you keep adding on and adding on and adding on whenever you are repaying. Yes. What else did she say? Avoid going to the mall if you do not have to go. If you just go to the mall, you might be surprised as to how much money you spend, even if you hadn't planned to spend so much money. And then the last thing she says is you must invest, buy shares, but the first thing you need to do is to research those companies you want to buy shares from. Yes, so that was my big sister. So now my little sister. Yes, her and I definitely have many conversations. So what she said was you must save. See, every other person is also saying saving, 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 and save. And she says money comes and money goes. So I guess that would just mean that if money comes and goes, if you have money put aside somewhere, that money could help you, sort out things, work on new projects, and all those kind of things. And who else? My cousin said money is meant to be spent. There is no use having savings and starving, or having savings and going to borrow for something you need now because your savings are for a specific purpose. So guys, do not starve yourself in the name of saving. Yes, saving is good, but do not neglect yourself just because money is put aside and designated for a certain thing. No, do not starve yourself. Sit down and think about how you're going to use that money properly. If there's a month where you have to use all of that money, it has to be used right, used wisely, so that you do not get into debt or yourself in trouble for any sort of reason. Okay, and then someone said only borrow people money you are willing to lose. I don't think I could explain this. It's plain just as it is. Do not borrow money to people you are willing to lose. And what did I just say? No, that was wrong. Only borrow money you are willing to lose. Yes. Okay. Somebody else said Okay, this one of my friends says she places money into her savings, and then also gets a notice for that money, so that if she has to withdraw it, oh my goodness, there's a fly. If she has to withdraw it, she has to think about it twice, because she'd have to go put in a notice first with the bank. And then the other thing she said is pay yourself first. Oh my goodness, what is up with this guy? So what does paying yourself first mean? Paying yourself first means when you get money, be it your allowance, your salary, or whatever kind of money you're getting, you need to take a portion of it and put it away into your savings account. That's what paying yourself first means. It does not mean you have to start a business and then when money comes into that business, then you pay yourself a salary. No, it's a universal saying. It just refers to when you do receive money, you take a portion and then you put it aside into savings, lock it in there, and then it earns interest. So that's what it means. And then who else? Okay, we are almost done. Okay, this one gave me a money mistake that they feel that they made. They feel the mistake they made was buying stuff on credit, especially clothes. They wish they did not, open up a clothing account. Yes. We learn, guys. We learn. Okay, we are almost done. But we are like almost done, but we're not done. But we are almost done. Okay, we are almost done. So I'm going to read from 2 more people and then we are done. So now, okay, my other friend, my favorite human being says, avoid losing money on things that won't help you, be it habits or businesses that are not working out. Also, they said you lose nothing from saving. Put away what you can afford to put away. The earlier you start, the better. So what also they were saying is a lesson from this is that what they wish they did was they wish they had started saving much earlier than the time that they actually started saving. So the lesson here is there's no right time for saving. Whatever age is okay. If you start saving when you're like 5 years old, it's fine. Start saving at 5 years old. And then now the other thing they're saying is they feel like you guys might think it contradicts what they were saying, but they felt it was necessary. They're saying there's nothing wrong with spoiling yourself, because this, regardless of how big or how small, it helps your mindset with wanting to make more so you can spoil yourself even more. So with spoiling yourself, it's like you are encouraging yourself to do the one thing that actually got you to spoil yourself. So if you save more, obviously over time you're gonna be like, but let me just, be nice to myself for all those times that I was so strict about putting aside money. Yes, and then now my other friend says, yeah, I have a lot of friends, guys. It's not a bad thing. You guys must make friends. Okay, what they're saying now is avoid unnecessary purchases. What are unnecessary purchases? They are purchases when you look back, you cannot account and be like what exactly you did with that money. It's when you look back and you don't know what you did with that money. And then they say with regards to things that have price tags, you need to be able to differentiate and know what is a need and what is a want. And they also talk about investments. They say educate yourself about investments before you make them. So what does it mean by educating yourself? Guys, we live in a time where we have access to information. You just Google these things and you will, get knowledge, be informed, and then you will be able to make the right decision. Okay, the last one, it relates to buying a car. They're saying when you get to the car dealership, do not let the salesperson convince you otherwise. If you went there with a specific thought on a specific car in your mind, stick to it, because what are the implications of that? The implications of that is that if you go there and you buy a different car from the one that you originally wanted, it might need a little bit more money, either for the installments and the insurance obviously as well. So they're saying you need to go there and buy a car that you can afford. How do you know that you can afford a car? You need to be able to fill it up. They say you must be able to fill it up even till the last week before you get your next paycheck. So that's how you know you can afford it. They're saying if that car, you only drive that car for like 1-2 weeks, and then in the third week you cannot drive it because you do not have money for petrol, and then you couldn't afford that car. Settle for something that will not mess with your budget or mess with your money at all, to a point where now you cannot enjoy it because it's just too expensive. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed what I did with you guys today. I thought this video was pretty fun. I thought this video was very necessary as well. So I hope you guys enjoy it. Feel free to like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell their friends that I have this video about money. Yes, I know money is a very sensitive topic to a lot of people, but at some point it has to be had. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys in the next video.